Now that Aaron Rodgers is officially the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it feels like the franchise just hit the reset button on their offensive identity. The move is bold, it's loud, and it screams urgency. And make no mistake, this team isn't bringing Rodgers in to go 8-9 and just see what happens. No, this is a swing for the fences. And if you're going to bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champ, future Hall of Famer, you better be ready to build the right offense around him. That starts with one thing: weapons. Now, of course, DK Metcalf is already here. That's a massive start. Having a freakish athlete like Metcalf gives you that vertical threat, the guy who can win deep, dominate with size, and put real fear into defensive coordinators. But in today's NFL, you can't just rely on one big-time wideout and expect consistent production, especially not when your quarterback is someone who thrives on precision, timing, and trust with his receivers. Aaron Rodgers needs more. The Steelers know that, and the message from the front office is clear. They're not done building this offense. So what's next? That's what we're diving into today. The Steelers are exploring all their options when it comes to adding another wide receiver to the room. There are rumors flying around, trade targets being discussed, and free agents that could come in and make an immediate impact. We're going to break it all down. The dream targets, the realistic options, and even some of the guys who might not be the sexiest names, but could still give this offense a nice little boost. But before we go shopping, let's take a look at what Pittsburgh is currently working with. Right now, the projected rotation at wide receiver includes DK Metcalf, obviously, as the clear number one. Then you've got Robert Woods, the veteran, who's likely to see action on early downs, mostly because of his reliability and blocking ability. Calvin Austin III is the speedster, the guy who gives you a spark in the passing game with his agility and after-the-catch explosiveness. He's not much of a blocker, but his route running and vertical game add a real dimension to the offense. Roman Wilson rounds out the top four as the slot specialist, bringing quickness and sharp route execution from inside. After those four, things start to drop off. You've got names like Ben Skowronek, who's more of a blocker and special teams contributor, Scotty Miller, Brandon Johnson, guys who respectfully don't really move the needle when it comes to offensive firepower. So that's where this conversation really picks up. Pittsburgh needs another wide receiver, one that can take over Robert Woods' role, but with more juice. They need a bigger body, someone who can block, yes, but also run a full route tree and stay on the field all 3 downs. And that's important because of Rodgers' play style. He's known for making changes at the line of scrimmage, calling audibles, using hand signals. He needs receivers who can handle that kind of improvisation and complexity. DK Metcalf, for all his strengths, doesn't have the most diverse route tree, which means adding a veteran who can run precise, adaptable routes is key. Rodgers has to be able to look across the formation and know he's got at least one guy who sees the game the same way he does. That's why route running ability is at the top of the list for any new addition. Now let's talk dream targets. These are the names that make fans light up. The splashy trades that feel like Madden scenarios, but every once in a while they happen. At the top of that list is Terry McLaurin. If, and that's a big if, the Commanders were to make him available, Pittsburgh should be all over it. He's a complete receiver, great hands, polished route runner, physical at the catch point. Rodgers would love him. Would it cost a high draft pick? Yeah, probably a second rounder. But for a player of McLaurin's caliber, it's worth the phone call. Another name in this elite tier is Chris Olave. Now, the Saints aren't exactly in a position where they're looking to part ways with a young star wideout, but we know the Steelers have at least reached out. Olave is one of the smoothest route runners in the game. He's got that effortless burst, precise breaks, and he'd be a perfect complement to Metcalf. Again, it's a long shot, but the fact that there have been conversations tells you Pittsburgh is thinking big. Then you've got a couple of intriguing names from Indianapolis. Alec Pierce is a big body, deep threat. And Michael Pittman Jr. is a possession receiver who's made a name for himself with his ability to win short and intermediate routes. Both could be appealing, especially Pittman given Rodgers' preference for timing routes and quick decision making. It's unclear whether the Colts would be willing to move either of them, but Pittman in particular would give the Steelers the exact kind of versatile, dependable target they're looking for. But let's be real, the odds of landing any of those guys aren't great, So what about the more realistic targets? Enter Romeo Doubs from Green Bay. Now this is a name that makes a ton of sense. He's only 25 years old, a strong run blocker, and he played with Rodgers back in his rookie year. That chemistry matters. Doubs has been compared to a light version of Davante Adams. Not quite the same ball skills, but he moves. Similarly, has a good feel for space and is more advanced as a route runner than people give him credit for. Plus, he fits the mold. Big frame, quick feet, plays hard. If the price is right, that's a move Pittsburgh should make. Then you look at a couple of veteran free agents. Amari Cooper is coming off a season split between Cleveland and Buffalo. And while he's not the elite player he once was, he's still a savvy technician. He can win inside and outside, run sharp routes, and he'd give Rodgers the kind of reliable target he's thrived with throughout his career. Same goes for Keenan Allen, now 33 but still producing at a high level. Allen is known for his slot work, but he can also line up outside, and his football IQ is off the charts. Rodgers would love both of these guys. One of the more intriguing trade targets is Jalen McMillan from Tampa Bay. The Bucs had a crowded receiver room even before adding more talent in this year's draft, so McMillan could potentially be pried away. He had a strong rookie campaign and offers youth, athleticism, and route polish. If Tampa's open to it, Pittsburgh should make the call. Adam Thielen is another name that surfaced, and while he's not the player he once was, he's still reliable. He's crafty, has great hands, and even at 34, he can produce in the right role. The Steelers actually had interest in Thielen at last year's trade deadline, so don't be surprised if his name pops up again. Now, there's also our third tier of receivers, guys who might not be top-end talents but could still contribute. Dontavian Wicks, for example, brings physicality and blocking ability, though he does have some drop issues. Trey Palmer is a burner, one of the fastest guys in the league for his size. And he can stretch the field, contribute on special teams, and provide some juice as a vertical threat. Then there's John Mechie, who hasn't broken out yet, but has the kind of traits Pittsburgh is looking for. He's a strong route runner, solid blocker, and could be a sneaky good pickup. Jalen Coker from Carolina is another crafty route runner with reliable hands and good size. He's a developmental guy, but there's upside. And then there's Alan Lazard. Look, he hasn't been good recently, but he does have chemistry with Rodgers. If you're talking about a late-round flyer, maybe it makes sense, though expectations should be low. Gabe Davis is also on the radar. He's had some big games in Buffalo, but injuries and inconsistency have held him back. Still, he's got speed, size, and experience. And just to throw one more wrinkle into all this, there's been some buzz about the Steelers potentially targeting a tight end instead of a receiver. Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts are the two names being tossed around. Smith made the Pro Bowl last year with Miami and is a solid all-around player, while Pitts has the talent but hasn't quite lived up to expectations. The Falcons reportedly want a day 2 pick for Pitts, which feels rich, given his production and looming contract situation. Jonnu might be a more realistic option, but even then, the price could be high. And truthfully, I don't think Pittsburgh ends up going that route unless the price drops. So now the question is, who's your guy? Who do you want the Steelers to bring in as that next offensive weapon for Aaron Rodgers? For me, I'm all in on Romeo Doubs if the trade works. Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen would be excellent short-term additions. And if by some miracle you can get someone like Terry McLaurin or Chris Olave, that's the kind of move that could change the trajectory of this team overnight. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A surprising whisper is making its way through the NFL grapevine, suggesting a potentially seismic shift for the 2025 season. Sources close to both organizations, speaking on condition of anonymity, are fueling speculation that Green Bay Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs could be on the move, with the Pittsburgh Steelers emerging as a prime suitor. The buzz indicates that Doubs, a promising talent known for his athleticism and contested catch ability, might be seen by the Steelers as a key, albeit unexpected, piece to elevate their offense. The rumor mill suggests that Pittsburgh is eyeing Doubs not just as another receiving option, but as a potential secret weapon for quarterback Kenny Pickett. This potential acquisition is being framed as a strategic move to add a different dimension to the Steelers' passing game. Doubs' skill set, particularly his ability to stretch the field and make plays in traffic, is believed to be a complementary fit for Pickett, who could benefit from a reliable target with a knack for creating separation. The idea is that Doubs could become a go-to receiver in crucial situations, catching defenses off guard with his versatility. While details of any potential trade are, at this stage, purely speculative and subject to change, the sheer possibility of Doubs in black and gold has ignited fervent discussion among fans and analysts alike. It's a tantalizing prospect that could dramatically alter the offensive landscape for both franchises. For the Steelers, it represents a bold, under-the-radar move that could pay significant dividends, transforming their aerial attack and giving Pickett a new, formidable target to unleash in 2025. This remains, for now, a compelling rumor, but one that could very well reshape the upcoming NFL season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.